It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. Boom, Miss Rusty. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast, the Public Access Podcast, here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. And I'm your host, Rusty Diamond. You can check out other great shows that I co-host on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, such as When the Gloves Come Off, the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is It with Lizzie and Saved by the Ben. And this show is brought to you by Stoner Eats Productions, Fred Ben Savage's Buck, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock'emUp.org. And you guys, it is Wednesday. And I did 3 episodes yesterday, and 3 I think is too many. 2 is a good number. 3, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm happy I got to talk with Jamie though last night, but I think I'm gonna stick with 2. 2 is my good booking number. So unless I'm not hosting it, if I'm just on the podcast, I can do 3 or 4. But if I'm hosting, I'll stick with 2. 2 is a good number. So today I have on a very special guest, and this is my only show today. So enjoy that. So today I'm gonna bring on right here, right now. We have Bobbi Chegwyn.
Hey.
Hey, thank you for being here on the podcast. I'm happy to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me. When we were chatting on Messenger, I really liked your vibe. So I was very happy to jump on today and have a chat with you. You seem like the real deal, Rusty.
I try to be. I can't guarantee it, but I do my best of getting on that real deal because it's important to me, and it's very easy to just like we were talking about earlier for a minute. It's very easy to just gloss over, and you have the cookie cutter podcast that's ready to go, and also, I mean, I don't want to have a set of questions either written out either. I don't want to have, this big thing full and just having to stop every once in a while and, kind of end up feel like I'm asking the same questions over and over. And I know a lot of people that do a lot of podcasts as a guest, and I've done as a guest as well, over and over, have had to answer the same questions over and over and over. And for that, I like for anyone listening, if you want to know any more about my guest, and you want that, and I'm 95% sure every one of my guests has done a fair number of those podcasts, and they're great, and it's good to have all you need is really one of those, maybe 2, because then you can use that, and that story. Everyone has a story, and I don't know how much that story changes from time to time. And I don't know. I just wanted to offer something a little bit different. So
I think the magic is in the flow, and just to see where you end up.
I think so too. And so speaking of, so from your flow of and where you ended up, so I take it you are from
somewhere else.
I'm
and from now the deep south, and I'm actually from the deep south, and hang a right, and then you'll find me. You'll find my birth country, Australia. Yeah.
Your birth country? Are you not living in Australia?
No. Guess where I am? I'll give you a hint. Horn. It's flat. Buckeye.
Is it flat in the middle, but is it round on both sides?
It's flat in the middle. There's water up north. There's a river down south. Yeah, we're the northernmost southern town, apparently, Cincinnati.
Yep, that's where I was born.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
coincidence. Yeah, that's where we are.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great place. I went back there 2 years ago to visit some friends they have I guess it's a shop, but it's only open when they're there. I think it's more of a shop now, and they're doing some more stuff. But it's up in Lebanon, and it's like,
That's where we are.
well,
No way.
okay, well, if you're ever looking for any sort of sweet clothes or any sort of I don't know what you'd call it. I like yeah, like not secondhand clothing, whatever you would call it. Like,
Yeah. What's the
but
shop?
they got some awesome stuff. It's called Mojo Casher, MOJOCASHER, and I think that they just moved their place. But yeah, I went up there and I got a whole bunch of stuff from them. I got a bunch. I'm not wearing anything today though. But
Well, tell them you said hello.
yeah, if you head on over there, yeah, say Rusty sent you, and
All
yeah,
right. God, that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, it was cool. I went out there 2 years ago, Memorial Day, because I drove there from southern Minnesota, because I hadn't been back to Cincinnati since I was 11,
Yeah.
and so it's been a few years. So yeah, I wanted to. I was living. It was a 10-hour drive from
Wow.
where I was living, but I was moving west, so it was going to be further. I think in like a week or two after that, and so like, well, I'm just going to go over and drive to Cincinnati, and yeah. So yeah. So have you had Cincinnati chili?
Yes.
Or do you?
Yes. Once or twice. I mean, it's okay. I know they go on about it, but it's kind of like people around here don't really fancy Vegemite that much. They'll taste it and think, oh, okay, but I love it. So I think maybe it's something that you grow up with, and it becomes something special. And it's nice, but I mean, for me, it's mince meat with a bit of spice. Well, we call ground meat. So I mean, it's nice, but yeah,
not a lot of spice. There's
not too much.
Not too much. It's yeah. It's an odd thing to tell somebody what it is, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's just ground up meat with some cinnamon and chocolate and allspice, and you put it on top of a bunch of spaghetti noodles that are just plain, and then you top it with a crap load of shredded cheese.
There's a lot of cheese, yes.
Yeah,
but that's
onions.
America is a lot of cheese and a lot of ranch.
Well, yeah. Oh, I can't do ranch. I've tried it one time, and it disgusted me so much. I won't get near it.
I think you're the first American I've met who does not like ranch either. So
okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
There is one.
Yeah. There's not too many of us. It's and yeah, people look at me like I'm crazy when I say I don't like it. And
yes, it's almost like a sin, I think, not to like ranch here.
I think so. And so how long you been over here for?
Just over 5 years now. Yeah, we came for my husband's work. He had a job opportunity over here, so we decided to do that, go on a bit of an adventure. I was keen. I had lived in London for 5 years in my 20s, so I knew what it was like to, pack up, leave, go and explore. And I like that. I like change, and I like excitement, and I like discovery. So came over here. We brought one child over with us. She did high school over here. And then as soon as she turned 18 and the restrictions lifted from COVID in Australia, she was out of here. And she was like, no, I need the beach. I need my friends, my family, my hometown. And I get that. I mean, the others were all adults by the time we left and were doing their own thing. And we brought one over. And during COVID, it was kind of difficult to have the same experience. So we were sad, but it's understandable that she went back home. So we're over here, I think maybe for another 4 or 5 years, and they're all back home. So yeah, our empty nest phase is extreme, I think, on 2 different continents and 10,000 miles apart.
And so, I mean, so then you didn't even get to take them to Kings Island or anything like that and go to...
Yes, so I just had Lucy here, and we did go to Kings Island, and she and I traveled quite a bit, actually. She was my kind of wing girl over here. We went all sorts of places. When she finished high school, we went down to the Smoky Mountains, and then...
Ooh.
I think it was maybe the same year or the year after, I had never seen the South. So I got an opportunity to house sit and dog sit in Alabama for a month. So we drove down there.
How'd you like that?
I loved
it. Alabama?
It was way too humid. However, we were in Fairhope, Alabama, and that's on the Gulf, it's in Mobile Bay, that area. And we were quite near the border of Florida and Pensacola in that area. So we got to drive down and swim at Destin and those areas. So it was nice. It was interesting. I think, at least in Fairhope, it's quite a well-to-do little southern retiree town, wealthy. So I was kind of underdressed, I think, when I just walked the shops. It was so hot. I was just wearing like a tank top and shorts, but people it was so strange. The women, they didn't sweat. And here I am with my hair sticking to my face and, wiping perspiration. It was so hot, but it was really good. And then we went to Arizona with her, Nevada, Hawaii. Gosh, where else? All over the place, Pennsylvania. So it was good value. I did do a lot with her, but she was keen to get back home once all that came to an end. I mean, she's now just about to turn 20, so she wants to start her life and get out from underneath mum's wing.
And so then you go back there. I guess you probably haven't been able to much for a few years, I guess.
The longest stint was during COVID, and that was 20 months that we couldn't go back. However, since we first came over, initially we were forced to go back every 3 months, because even though my husband was working and he was fine, we had the house over here, the dogs had been moved over here, Lucy and I did not have our green cards, and that process took about 18 months. So we were coming and going, so it forced us to go back and forth. After our tourist visa would end, then we'd have to spend some time in Sydney, then we'd have to come back. And then unfortunately my father was quite ill as well, so I was going back quite regularly to see him. So I have been back a lot, which I'm so thankful for. I think now that my father's now passed away, Lucy's now settled in Australia. So I think it should be probably about once a year now that I'll head back. I wish I could go more often, but it does cost money. So we just have to work hard and save our pennies, and then I scoot off.
Where do you fly through that, or how's that work?
Yeah, we have found the best way to go is Cincinnati down to Houston, which is only 2 hours, and then Houston overnight to Sydney, which is about 15 hours or so, but door to door is 21 hours. And I know people will say only 21 hours, but when you consider the fact that it's a night flight out of Houston, and I've got some tips for excuse me, surviving that long flight, then it goes quite easily. So the tips would be to choose the carb option when they serve you a meal, because carbs make you go into a coma when you're tired. 2 glasses of Sauv Blanc and a sleeping pill. So, and then I sleep for about 9 or 10 hours, and then you wake up and they're nearly serving breakfast and you can watch a movie. So yeah, they're my tips that I swear by. I will say coming back is a shocker because you leave in the daytime and there's so much daylight, so you can't really put yourself to sleep, but getting over there is fine.
Yeah, it's definitely nice doing that night flight when you're going over to anywhere that way and being able to just sleep during the flight. And
Yes.
yeah, that's a big help. That's a real big help. And then, if you can get leg room, that's unless you don't need leg room, then you're great. But yeah, a little leg room never hurt anybody.
No, I aim to go for seats. I change my seats so often before we fly because I'm looking, right, who's next to me? Okay. Oh no, someone's right next to me. I'll go over here. And then I'm sort of going all over the place just before they close off the opportunity to change your seat. So I'm usually pretty lucky.
And you can, so when you travel with someone, you do the aisle and window seat.
Yeah,
thing.
we do tend to do that. Although it was funny because my husband came over with me in January for the first time in a number of years. And he's really annoying on a flight. So we did put in that we wanted an upgrade if there was the opportunity. But otherwise we were in premium economy, and I had him on the aisle near the windows, and then there were the 4 seats in between us, and then I was on the other aisle over here next to the other windows. And I remember going up to the desk we actually had to go through LA, I believe, that time. And I went up to the desk and I said, I'm just checking on our upgrade. And the woman goes, do you know that you're not next to your husband? And I said, oh, yes, that's deliberate. He's so annoying because I'm trying to listen and he'll be poking me. He needs to ask me dumb questions that just aren't necessary. And then he fidgets and I can't do it. And that's real life. Like, I don't know about else, but that's Frank and that's me. And then
you're both going the same place.
We do. And so I like to sleep a lot, as I mentioned. And then after I'd gone up, maybe half hour passed, and he went up to the desk and he said, I'd just like to see if there's been any change. And they go, you're the one that's annoying. And then the woman said, hey, so-and-so, come over here. This is the one where the woman doesn't want to sit next to her husband. So I'm pretty brutal in relation to flying with him. There are conditions because he thinks he's really funny. He has got a bit of a sense of humor, but he's lovely and wonderful and playful. But when I'm on a flight, I don't want to talk to anyone. It's just, I think I turn mean.
I mean, that's good to know that, because I mean, you could just ignore it and just be miserable for 21 hours and take it out on him or take it out on somebody else. But here you're learning the way to fly that's going to be most enjoyable for everybody.
It's so true. And I said
nothing wrong with that.
He said, I can't believe you do this. And he laughs when he says that. And I said, listen, this is fantastic. I'm protecting our marriage and we won't be wanting to divorce each other when we land. So this is perfect. We'll actually look forward to seeing each other again.
Yeah, exactly. On an airplane, and the absence makes the heart grow fonder on an airplane, I think is what someone said.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, knowing that kind of stuff is so important, that knowing how you are
Mm.
And not being afraid to just embrace that. So I mean, it helps everybody, just knowing kind of what it is that's going to upset you
Mhm.
or anything like that, and just being able to say, ah, you know what, be a lot better this way. And
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we've
Just-
always been a couple that talks about what's happening on a deeper level, and we talk about emotions and taking self-inventory and that sort of thing. So we've always talked about that. So we can be straight up with each other. And even a little while ago, I knew that I was just not feeling right. And it was also a full moon. And I said to him, look, just to let you know, I'll probably be just flat for a few days, but it's got nothing to do with you. So just put up with it, okay? And he's like, yeah, fine, that's fine. I know in advance that that you're not all there, and
Yep.
that life isn't perfect right at the moment. I mean, life's great, but just sometimes emotions, especially Rusty, when you're menopausal, oh my God, it's just up and down and here and there. And so, but the great thing is you can just blame everything on menopause. So yeah. Yes. Sorry, I don't feel like coming out today. I've got the menopause. So
Yeah. It's it's the okay. I mean, what can someone say? It's like,
yeah,
okay, well,
yeah,
but then also, you're letting him know that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, stay away from me today, or um don't don't do anything that's gonna maybe, you know, like, that normally I'd be fine with, but just like, not today, not today. And it's like, okay, well, go do your thing. If you feel like you wanna see me or something for a little bit, come say hi or whatever, and then go back to whatever you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's a lot better than you just being incredibly upset all the time,
yeah,
or all during that time, and then your husband getting upset
yeah,
at that as well, when it's something that all you have to do is just say, it's not you,
yeah,
it's not you, it's me.
exactly.
And I think everybody should do that. And I
Yeah,
think it's very important. You don't need to be around whoever you're with all the time.
yeah,
And I mean, that's an important thing to know. Like, yeah, sometimes you need your own time, and it's okay. It's nothing against the other person. You need your time.
yeah.
And
It's really works for us. This is our second marriage for both of us. So we're both used to being on our own. And this is where it's really quite a gift, because we both have been independent before and we really enjoy each other's company, but we're not dependent on each other to fill our happy tanks. So we'll be apart doing our own things, and then we'll come together, and that coming together to do things is actually really nice. We appreciate one another. So it's interesting. The difference between my first and second marriages is so great. I think the level of maturity, the level of understanding when you are with someone who is emotionally intelligent and kind of doesn't take things too personally and is able to see the big picture. He is the president of a manufacturing plant over here, and he has been in that sort of role for many years. So I don't think that you can be someone in that role who is going to respond emotionally to things that happen. You just have to be quite logical and plan and aim to understand, but not take someone else's stuff on board. So I really appreciate that about him, because I was a bit of a mess when I came out of my first marriage, and he used to say, I think you're stepping on an emotional landmine, because what you're thinking is going on is not actually going on, between us. It's stuff that's presenting itself from your past. And it was so true. And because I work in human behavior, I loved all these conversations that we would have. I'd never had a partner to have those sorts of conversations with before. And we'd go really deep investigating why. Like I said, he likes to take self-inventory, and so do I. That's what I do a lot with work as well. But it just made it so much easier to step away from myself at the beginning of our relationship and to understand, hang on a minute, this has got nothing to do with him at all. And it allowed for a fresh perspective, and it allowed me to grow as well. And I'm a completely different person than I was 12 years ago. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I think it's very important to do that before you get into any other relationship, or since you did it right at the beginning, being able to, because taking anything over, and I mean, most of the time we don't realize how much we're taking over and how much we're projecting onto the new person for no reason. Take if someone has been cheated on or something, and then you don't take really be able to work through that in themselves, and then go into the next relationship, and then that person person that they're dating is just kind of getting their shit, and it has nothing to do with them, and it's just not in a fair place, and it's just something that the other person hadn't been able to work through. And if everyone just has a little time to take the self inventory of themselves, be able to realize what was going on in your last relationship and address that, and find a way to not bring that into the new one. I think this world will be a lot better. And I think that a lot of the times it gets pushed down inside you and not wanting to be brought up again. But then it comes out at really shitty times.
It does.
And it's directed at the new person in the relationship. And what did I do? I don't know. And and just for yourself. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I was just going to say, when we first started going out, it's probably about 6 weeks into our relationship, and something happened. I can't even remember what it was. And I was on the phone to him and I said, I guess we're going to break up now. And his response was, "Who are you, Chandler?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Haven't you ever seen that episode of Friends where Monica and Chandler are together now and something little happens, but it's Chandler's belief from past relationships that, oh, okay, everything's done now." And Monica goes, "Why do you think we're breaking up? This is a relationship. This is real life. Things happen and we just talk it out." And I'll always remember that. But when he said, "Why are you being Chandler?" That's so funny. But that was my thought, that, okay, if you do, I don't even know if I was doing anything other than just expressing what I needed or something like that. And it wasn't a fight, it was a discussion. But in previous relationships, maybe that wasn't necessarily a good thing to do, or something that was wanted by other parties. So it was a whole new experience, but it certainly steered me in a different and better direction, that's for sure.
And the more you know about yourself, there's never any downside to that.
No.
You may think it is at first, like, oh shit, well, there's a lot I need to work on, but you're working on it. And it's only going to make you better. It's not going to make you worse by working on yourself.
Oh, exactly. And to be more aware of yourself, it's so empowering, because it's so much better to come at life from a place of cause rather than effect, and know that, well, you're in charge of your own reactions towards life. And if I'm feeling shitty or resentful or something that we deem negative towards another person, it's got nothing to do with them and everything to do with me. And it's almost fun now, because it's like doing a puzzle. It's like, wow, where has that come from? And what old belief has that got to do with? And it's like, just knock it off already, okay? Like, that's been 20 years since that happened. So it's got nothing to do with right now. But I like thinking. I'm a Gemini, so I live in my head. So to self-analyze and to take self-inventory for my greater good, that's my happy place.
And that's a great place to be. And I mean, yeah, so like I said, it's not going to hurt you getting anything figured out. Anything figured out that's going to help you streamline your life into, not having unnecessary fights or just any sort of unnecessary conflict, of just being aware, like you said, being aware of what you do and who you are and why things are the way they are. Seems like a good idea. And I mean, I assume that helps out with you being an empty nester. With they're not, but then I can imagine it being with kids around, it probably only multiplies that effect. Yes,
it certainly does. But it has been really helpful since becoming an empty nester, because that was a really dreadful 6 months. So Lucy went back, and then 5 months later, Dad passed away in Sydney. And I was at a really, really low point back over here. And about a year ago, I couldn't get myself out of bed, and I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to restart that process of using the tools, knowledge, advice, strategies and practices that I had used before and coached other women with before. It was hard, but I knew that was going to be the way to pull myself out of this slump. And I thought, well, if I'm going to help myself, I'm going to take other empty nester mums along for the ride as well. So I started assisting other mums in my situation, and it's been so therapeutic. It's been great. It makes me feel good to be able to not only help other women through this process, but I think the greatest drive for me is that it's really important for me that no empty nest mum is left alone thinking that there's no one to hear her, that she doesn't matter, that this is all in her head, that she has no one to connect with. So I think it's that isolation that is something that I wanted to eradicate with empty nest mums, and to be able to bring as many as I come together so they know there is a safe space just to be heard and feel like they belong, because the disconnection was a really big theme that came up when I started researching and doing surveys with empty nester mums on what was going on. How do you feel? I know how I feel, but I want to hear about you.
So disconnection from what?
Their life as they knew it. So their identity changes. They're no longer an in-person mum. They don't know what their purpose is. They are now looking at their partner, spouse, whoever you have, thinking, oh, who are you as an individual at this stage of life? Because you've always just been dad or another mom or a partner. So that's different. So a lot of them feel disconnected from their friendship groups because their friends still have kids who are at home. So there's this shattering of life as they once knew it. And it's a disconnection from certainty. It's a disconnection from the 6 core human needs: love and connection, certainty, safety and security, significance, variety, contribution and growth. So for a lot of them, when their kid walks out that door, the way in which those core needs have been filled and met dramatically decreases yet it's not something that an empty nest mum would think about as she closes that door. All right, okay, now let's go and address my core needs situation because my child's just left and I'm going to feel a bit low, and I'll just understand why I feel a bit low. It's closing that door and thinking, what the F just happened? And there's shock, turmoil, confusion, depression, fear, grief, loss, and it's not necessarily addressed. And I think by using I call it, there's a hole in my bucket, because when I was thinking about it earlier on, that song came into my mind, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza. And I thought, this is what it is. There are those 6 core need buckets. And when our kids leave home, the way in which our needs were met, a hole is formed, and the way those needs are met are depleted, and we don't know why we're feeling this way, and we feel really strange and alone. But there's a logical reason, and I think when more women know about this logical reason, and then there is a way to fill those buckets back up, it's just like, well, who am I not to be experiencing this grief? I mean, hello, look what's just happened.
Right. And so then is it empty nest dad thing? Is that a thing really at all? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is. However, I've always worked with women. The way I've always worked is I have to work with a reflection of myself. And when I first started coaching back in 2008 in Sydney, I was working with women in transition because I was going through a divorce. And it's always been really important to me to work with others from my most authentic space.
Sure.
I don't get the headspace, or I'm not necessarily aligned with the headspace of a male. So I personally don't think I would be as effective because I'm not a bloke. I haven't grown up as one. I know about you, but I am not you. So I want to be able to help in my most authentic way. So I've always helped women. So at this stage, I help the mums because I am kind of in their head. We're so similar. We can talk the talk. We kind of know what each other is dealing with. So it's important for me to come from an authentic place. And so, yeah, but I'm sure I would love to know who's out there helping the empty nest dads. Is there a guy out there who is totally in tune with them that can help them through? Because that would be just as much of a problem, perhaps in a different way, but there are men out there who are feeling all sorts of things due to their kids leaving.
Yeah, and I think that'd be interesting to kind of compare and contrast notes of between the two of you and so then when you're doing your coaching, is it in person, online, or are you doing not conventions, what are they called,
like workshops? And
yeah, like a workshop or something with multiple people? And
yeah, so for the last year or so, I have been working on a book that's about to come out, which will also be a course. But my initial desire was to get a community going. As I mentioned before, it was that need to not let any empty nest mum feel like she's been left behind. So communities have been created. So in the last year, it's all been about writing the book. I have a podcast for empty nest mums called Fly Mum Fly. So it's just been about creating spaces for women to hear other people's stories or can share their stories and not feel so alone. So we have a great group on Facebook. It's the Inspired Empty Nest Mums group, where women can come and share. And then we have the podcast where other empty nest mums jump on and share their experiences. A lot of them have gone on to find a purpose, so they're able to share what they're doing now and perhaps encourage and inspire or help other mums. So it's been about creating these environments where women can connect with other women in the same situation. Once the book is out, it's my dream to hop in my car, travel around the country, and go to not even necessarily big cities. I'd rather go to small towns and out of the way places and connect with mums who want to come and talk about this and say, well, here's a resource. The book is called The Post-Nest Plan. So it's a proactive book where women now rediscover and reconnect and re-identify who they are at this stage of life, because we're far different than who we were before we had kids. We're different now, being remote mums, not in-person mums. And it's about rediscovering who we are and laying that foundation. And at the end of the book, women will come out with their own unique plan according to who they are, because a lot of the book is doing self-inventory to find out just that, because a lot of us don't even know who we are once we become an empty nester.
Yeah. And so then let me ask you about your book. So your book, so are you writing it? Did you do an outline of it first and then fill in the blanks, or was it just, I'm going to write a book and then just write it and then change the format and
Well, it was actually, I did a course between last October and January to create a course, because I thought, okay, this is what empty nest mums need, a course. And then I graduated from that course, and I had my course, and then I thought, no, not right now. I think women need a book. Women need to just scribble on things, mark pages, be able to go through it at their own pace. So I thought, no, I really want to make this into a book. So I transferred it into a book, and then it will go back to being a course, but a better, more streamlined course. So there are two options. People will be able to do both, but I just felt really drawn to taking the course and transferring it into a book with more personal stories. So it was a course, then it was a book, then it will be another course, so to speak.
So was it, when you come up with ideas, how are you jotting them down? If you come up with an idea in the middle of the day, how are you jotting it down?
Yeah, well, a lot of this stemmed from work, because I've been working in this area for about 15 years now. There were things that I had written a long time ago. So the book is based on my personal 3 A's for change. It's acceptance, awareness, and action. So it's based on that. And then I already had a lot of the, I guess, the meat of the book already in Facebook posts or written for other articles and that sort of thing. So I was just rehashing. About 50% of it is reworking material that I created and used in the past, but reworking it now for this phase of life, the phase that I'm in. So it's going to, so other empty nest mums can connect with that. And then a lot of it was relaying my own personal experience in story form. So, and then some of it was totally new, actually. It was like, but I don't know about anyone else, but when I'm in the shower, it's like it's an open portal. It's kind of like a I don't know, watery meditation or something like that, because I drift off in the shower and I probably use way too much hot water, but I'm just thinking, and a lot of stuff comes from that space. And then I think, yeah, actually I'll go downstairs and I'll jot that down and I'll make something of that. So it came from a lot of places.
Have you ever thought about the waterproof, not like a whiteboard, but like, a thing you can write stuff on in the shower?
Yes.
It's a thing.
Yeah, I need that, because I remember when I first started out and I was with my girls, we had moved house. I was now a single mom and the girls were little, and I used to receive so much good information in the shower that quite often I would come out of the shower still wet and I'd say, girls, don't speak to me. I've just got to remember something to write down. And I'd run downstairs totally naked and it would be like writing something down. And then I'd go back up and finish my shower because I thought, wow, that's so profound. I can't forget this. Nobody speak to me until I get this down on paper. So yeah, I do need one of those things in the shower. I think it would be more helpful.
Yeah. I mean, either way works. Either way seems all right.
Yeah.
And so let's see. So when you're writing, then are you writing it out in like in a notebook? Are you writing it out on paper? Are you using a typewriter? Are you using your phone? Are you using a computer? Are you using a chisel and stone?
Yeah, the chisel and stone. Well, with this one, I had because I was creating the course first, it was more about writing modules. And then, so what I did was I purchased a big whiteboard. And at first I just scribbled everything down. Every idea that came into my mind, I'd scribble down on the whiteboard. And then I would spend minutes and minutes and minutes just staring at it. And then I knew the 3 modules that I wanted to do. And then it was important for me for it to unfold like a story of someone, like what would be the steps that someone would take to effectively come out the other end? What do they need to know first? So then some ideas I got rid of. What do they call it? Kill the little darlings, I think they call it, or someone mentioned that. So you kill your little darlings, all the stuff that's just, not needed. And then there was the stuff that was going to be really useful. And then it was just put into a sequence of, well, this is the natural first step, this is the natural middle, and this is the natural final step. And then when transferring that to the book, it became part 1, part 2, part 3, and then the chapters inside.
Okay. And then as far as that goes with the book writing and course making, where are you with the ChatGPT kind of assistance with that? And because I mean, yeah, like there's a lot of most anything I do that's creative now, I don't. It's hard. I say like I don't know. I have so many different feelings about it both ways. But where are you with that as far as?
I love ChatGPT for hashtags. I love it for my podcast actually, because I have my intro script and then it'll be modify this for an episode description so I like it like that. When I write, I'm actually typing because I'm not writing the book out. When I write, a lot of it needs to I don't know, once again, it's in that meditative state where that flow just naturally comes. So I think in my case, I love to just write in that flow. But then it's funny because when it comes time to edit, oh, wow, because I'll type how I speak. And it's quite interesting. And then I need to. So the book has been edited quite a bit to take out my own speak, but to still get that message across.
By someone else or by you?
Me, someone else, and then a third party yet again. And then now I'm on to me rereading it before I submit. So
Is it? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, like I feel I'm worried about it not being absolutely perfect, but it's interesting now having this conversation today and what we've been talking about with just authenticity. I think with podcasting, a lot of information we get is it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. And then I go on to the self-publishing groups. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. And I think, what actually is going to happen if I have used one word when I should have used another? Is the sky going to fall? No, I just think, God, we've been so conditioned into this bullshit way of life, haven't we? And it's
right.
at me over and over, and it's starting to become a big theme, and it's making me so uncomfortable to think, how programmed am I becoming to think every single aspect of what I put out there needs to be perfect? And this morning I was making my coffee, and am I allowed to swear?
Yes, you're allowed to swear.
Well, I'll just say the letter. And I thought, F this for a joke.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say it.
Yes, oh, thank you, because in America it's different than Australia. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, some places in America. But I thought, fuck this for a joke. You are here. Your main thing here with all of this is to be of service. Get over yourself and be of service. If you're trying to be better version of yourself, that's not you. You need to deliver how you deliver. Those who resonate with you will think, oh, okay, that's great. But I don't think anyone's going to try and hang me because there might be a colon instead of a semicolon or something like that. I mean, the book, I keep reading it. It's fine. But there's been this resistance because what if there is something that I've missed? And I get really cross. In the last 24 hours, I've thought about this so much. And I thought, this is just effing ridiculous. Like, just get over yourself, upload it, and get on with it, because it's been on my mind. I'm kind of in conflict with myself because it's like, it's not perfect. I can't do it. It's like, well, you can't go to sleep at night because it's not uploaded yet. So what's your solution? Just upload it, So yep. I'm so glad we've had this talk today, because it's really taken me back to what's important.
And I mean, someone saying it's not perfect, it's their imperfection. It's their version of perfect. It's not your version of perfect.
Yeah.
Your version of perfect is different than someone else's version of perfect.
So true.
And yeah. And so, I mean, it's it's all on you anyway. And then, the people that are going to get you are going to get you. And you don't need to please the people that are not going to get you anyway. Mm-hmm. It's not everyone's going to get you. And I know that more than a lot of people, that not everybody's going to get me. And I've learned to, because I've also had, hey, try to broaden who you're, talk more so everyone can, but it's not for everyone. It's for people that are going to resonate with you. And those people that are going to resonate with you are they're going to be thrown off, and they're going to think, who's she trying to talk to? She's trying to talk to people that are not me. But then when they're hearing what you're saying, that's that's perfect for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
true. And even if at the end of the day, whatever we do, it helps us to live more in that state of joy because we're coming at a place of authenticity, then if we help ourselves, we're better people for the rest of the world anyway. So, I'm so glad you're like my therapist.
Well, it's kind of my job.
You're a therapist. Oh my goodness.
And I mean, and then, when you're helping yourself, then that in turn is going to help other people with them, not even, just by you being the more better person, part of yourself. Someone's going to get that part of you, and maybe they'll be inspired. Maybe they're not going to react the same way because of how you are now at a different level. And then
so true.
Do it for you. Do it for you. And your people will be there. Your people are already there. Yeah. And so, keep at it. And so the people who are not there for you yet, but are going to be there for you now, where are they going to go and find you?
Well, the one-stop shop with the podcast, the Facebook group, and any other way they want to connect, plus further resources, are at inspiredemptynest.com.
Excellent. Well, that's easy. I can't forget that one. So, and then, when everything else is happening, just you go back there, you keep looking at that, and keep going back, and you'll learn. And so, I hope I hope that you got some new people to have, you know, a new point of view, like they may not have known that something like that with like what you do
Yeah.
is something that even exists, or the, you know, that, you know, they're not alone.
Yep.
And so thank you very much for that.
Thanks,
And
Rusty. It's been great.
absolutely. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and you never have to have Cincinnati chili more than one time. You can still go to Waffle House if you want, but then if you ever need a haircut, or if you need some cool clothes or other nostalgic anything, you can go to Mojo Casher. And yeah, so have a great rest of your day, Bobbi. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Thanks, mate.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. All right, that's Bobbi Chegwyn. So check her out. I'll put the website there in the link in the description. I'll put it in the link. So easy to find. There's some other stuff that'll be in the description of how to find her. I don't remember what it is, but it's in there. And you know me and ChatGPT will take care of it and get that to you in a nice thing, a nice fucking way to do it. So thank you guys, everyone, for listening here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. Check out other shows that I co-host on this network, such as When the Gloves Come Off, the Thinking Man's Pro Wrestling Podcast, This Is It with Lizzie, and Saved by the Ben. The show is brought to you by Stoner Eats Productions, Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and suck'emup.org. And also check out Mojo Casher, MOJOCASHER. Good people. So you guys, thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff you do. You're doing a good job of it. It's getting the numbers already. So thank you for that. So everyone have a great day. And that is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?